of the NBA world is now in Brooklyn. Not in Manhattan, in Brooklyn. I never thought I would say these words because I grew up with the New Jersey Nets, who were just sort of out of sight and out of mind, and they moved to Brooklyn, and then they ultimately pulled this off.
Well, it was good when they had a doctor.
Okay. Well, when they were in the ABA. Yeah. Okay. I got that. But my point is, this is now the total focus of this league going forward is going to be on will this work or will this not work?
Right.
And they're going to come out here in the middle of February and play a game at Staples, and it will feel like a preview of the NBA Finals.
Well, if they had fans, Skip, can you imagine? If they had fans and the amount of media, it would almost feel like a finals game.
It would.
With the amount of media credentials and the buzz around it, because everybody would have been on location.
Okay, so in the biggest picture, LeBron James has the highest IQ in basketball, I think in basketball history. He is already calculating what he's up against. And obviously, injuries can play a part. I'm going to knock on wood. You know, obviously, KD has injury history. Kyrie has injury history. James doesn't have much. But it could factor into this. But if they stay healthy, LeBron has to know he's going to be up against a much bigger challenge if, in fact, he can get through the West to the NBA Finals. Because I'm going to remind everybody, in the bubble last year, he wound up in the finals against an injury-riddled fifth seed that ultimately, starting with game one, when they obviously lost Bam and Dragic, that had to play high minutes a night. Three kids, Duncan Robinson and Hero and Kendrick Nunn, those three played high minutes like 25 minutes a night.
Right.
That's who you got to face in the NBA Finals. Well, what if it's KD, Kyrie, and James Harden?
Well, Skip.
Won't that be a little different?
Well, here's the thing. Sure, it'll be different, but it's not like somebody just put the Heat there. The Heat had to win 4 rounds.
Okay, they
had
did.
to win 4 games each round.
But weird things kept happening in the bubble, and I think they were a weird thing. They just caught fire, and it felt almost like March Madness.
What was the weird thing that happened to the Clippers and why they weren't there?
Okay, they did not want to be in the bubble. That's as simple as that. We talked about this at length. The Lakers have all agreed they just didn't want to be in the bubble, and they were associating with them and fraternizing with them, and they knew they didn't want to be there.
If you don't mind me asking, if the East is so weak, why are you praising it now? You remember when LeBron was over there and you said the East is terrible? And the only reason he's
used to be.
Whoa, time, Skip.
Okay. So what?
The East is terrible. If it was a cakewalk then, why is it so tough now?
Well, because KD went there and Kyrie went there, and now James Harden went there.
Do you notice? You notice? All those 2 of those guys that you mentioned were in the West. My guy came West.
Yeah.
They went East.
Okay. You think they're running?
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I'm just telling you what my guy did. Because you said my guy was ducking and dodging.
He was chasing Michael B. Jordan to Hollywood. That's what he was doing. And if he could get AD here, he'd have a shot. And in the bubble, he got a shot. And I believe it was the luckiest path to a finals you will ever find, ever, because they even dodged the Clippers.
No, they didn't dodge
the Clippers.
Skip, they didn't dodge the Clippers. The Clippers had the same opportunities that the Lakers had. They didn't play more games. They played less games because they got beat. They gagged, Skip.
It was the bubble. Half of them didn't even show up on time.
Let me ask you a question.
How long did the Clippers have to quarantine because guys were leaving the bubble?
Let me ask you a question. Had LeBron James and AD blew a 3-1 lead, and they had double-digit leads in all the time, would you have chalked it up to the bubble, or would you have said they choked?
Well, they didn't. So
no, don't do that. No, don't be like that.
I'd have to see how it unfolded.
Skip,
the Clippers dominated every game. They were up by 12, then 19, then 15 in 3 straight closeout games.
Okay.
They showed you. Las Vegas kept favoring them by higher numbers than your team was favored when you got to face them in the conference
So that's
finals.
what I'm saying. So if the situation were exactly the same, the Lakers were up by 16, 19, and 12, blowing a 3-1 lead, would you have said it was because of the bubble, or would you have said it was because they choked? A simple answer, Skip.
Okay, would the Lakers have been coming in and out of the bubble and not want to be there?
Hold on, first of all, once they got there, nobody left again. Once they got there, nobody left.
For the Clippers?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? They were in and out like crazy. Montrez left, Lou Williams left. You nicknamed him Lemon Pepper Lou.
Yeah, also.
They had to quarantine. They didn't play together.
Okay, what about Avery Bradley not coming? What about Avery Bradley?
Okay.
You said we weren't going to be able to do anything in the bubble because we lost Avery Bradley.
Well, I didn't say that.
Avery Bradley hit those 7 threes in March. That's what you said. You said that.
I don't think it was 7, but it was 5.
Yeah.
And that was the Avery Bradley Memorial game, and that was the first game you won against the Clippers, who had cleaned you out
Okay,
twice.
And guess what?
Opening night and Christmas Day.
And we never played, and Avery Bradley didn't come. But we in the first game in the bubble between the Clippers and the Lakers, who won that game?
You won that game.
And what did we do?
The Clippers didn't want to be there.
So now they didn't want to be there.
Right?
Nobody wanted to be there, Skip. First of all, everybody keeps saying how mentally tough. And they said, we don't want to go back to the bubble, to not have family, to not have friends. Nobody wants to do. Everybody except Skip Bayless said that was the most mentally challenging thing that they'd had to do in basketball. But now Skip said, oh, because LeBron won it, it wasn't that difficult. But had somebody else won it?
I give him high credit. He kept them together in the bubble. But he smelled blood.
But hold on, Skip.
Did LeBron ever say, I don't feel like I should be here, my heart's not in it because I need to be with Black Lives Matter or whatever? Did he say that?
Name the two teams that when Kenosha happened that says, okay, let's bounce. Okay. Name the 2 teams.
And then what happened? That was then 2 hours later, what happened in LeBron's room?
LeBron and Chris Paul got on a call with former President Obama, and they had a conversation. He said, you could do more, you do better down there, keeping the focus on it. And when they came back, they said, okay, we're going to do this. But Skip, don't do this. Now, you keep telling me that I'm confused now. Damn. And I think, hell, I got a degree and everything. Went to school. I was pretty good in school. I wasn't great. I was pretty good, though.
I thought you told me you were no good in school.
I was okay, Skip. You keep telling me LeBron James is the most mentally fragile superstar in the history of sports, yet he just endured the most mentally challenging season in sports. And now... Because
we're talking about the last seconds of big playoff games. That's when he is the mentally weakest. As we started to see in the 2011 finals. Do you remember those?
Yeah, you can go back to that 2011 finals, but this is what we know. Nobody has more playoff buzzer beaters. Nobody has more game shots with 10 seconds on the clock.
He's played like 300 more games than anybody else
And
has.
shouldn't he have failed? I mean, come on now.
He has failed far more than anybody has.
He should. Michael Jordan had a commercial.
Nobody has missed more late-game free throws than LeBron James.
So now it's going back to free throw.
He is a disaster at the late-game free throw line. Mental problems.
Has anybody hit more late-game shots? Yes or no?
He's hit, what, 7? In what's he played, 19 years now?
He played 18.
Well, he's going on.
Okay.
Yep.
How many Michael hit?
Well, he's already, what's he played? 350 more games than Michael?
I don't know. I don't count the games. I just make LeBron don't count games. He make the games count.
Did LeBron ever walk off at Utah with a Game 6 buzzer beater to just close?
No, he wasn't in the West at that point in time. But he did walk off against Orlando. He did walk off against Indiana. He did walk off against Toronto. He did walk off and walk off and walk it off.
Yeah, and
now
he walked right out of that Orlando series in games 4, 5, and 6, as usual. And again, it was cakewalk time against those Pacers and those Raptors featuring DeMar DeRozan.
Oh,
stop it.
So in other words, KD might get an opportunity to play the Pacers this year, right? Is it going to be a cakewalk? He might get an opportunity to play some of these other Toronto. Is it going to be a cakewalk?
Yep.
And the notion that you keep saying that series that people at home, that series that he's telling you about, Orlando, LeBron James averaged 38, 8, and 8. And boy, he was terrible.
Came apart.
He came apart.
Go look at 4, 5, and 6 and see what happened.
Go look at the numbers. Go look at the numbers in 4, 5, and 6. 38, 8, and 8. 38, 8, and 8. And he was terrible. Man, I sure wish. How many guys you think would like a stat line like that in a playoff game?
Then go look at against Boston the next year, which was his last year, the first time around in Cleveland, and see what happened in games 4, 5, and 6.
And then go to Boston the following year, and then the year after that, and see what happened.
Well, he joined forces with Wade and Bosh.
So what do we? So what are we saying about KD? What are we saying about James Harden? So now they joined forces.
They did.
You don't mention anything, but LeBron James.
Nope. They got this. They just said, this is the way of the NBA world. We got this.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Your
let's
day coming.
continue
Yeah,
to
yours
break
is
down what we're about to see in Brooklyn. Your day is coming. We're continuing the conversation here. As you know by now, James Harden is on his way to Brooklyn to join Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Harden and Durant have a